Now, before we get started with our presentation, I have a few things I would like to say in regards to Black history. As we know, February is Black History Month. It's a time dedicated to recognizing the achievements, contributions, and the resilience of Black individuals throughout history. Black history is more than just a month of reflection. It's also American history. It's a history of perseverance in the face of adversity, of strength in the midst of struggle, and triumph against incredible odds. Many courageous individuals paved the way for us today, sacrificing everything so that people like myself could gain a seat at the table and an opportunity to thrive. Their voices, their actions, and their legacies remind us that the fight of racial equality and social justice is far from over. Black History Month is not just something remembering the past, it's a call to action for the present and for the future. It challenges us to educate ourselves, to speak up, and to continue the work that so many before us started. History is the foundation of our identity. Without history, we don't exist. If we fail to teach our children about the struggles, achievements, and contributions of Black individuals, then we risk erasing those that fought to make a difference. Their stories deserve to be told, their accomplishments deserve to be honored, and their sacrifices must never be forgotten. It wasn't long ago that Black Americans was denied the right to vote. It wasn't long ago that segregation kept communities divided. It wasn't long ago that opportunities was systematically withheld based on the color of our skin, of one's skin. The freedoms we enjoy today were hard fought, and it's our duty to honor those who gave their lives for our rights, not just through celebration, but through action. So as we reflect on this month, let us also commit to moving forward with purpose. Let us continue to learn. Let us continue to uplift and to advocate for a future where justice, equality, and opportunity are not just ideals, but reality for all. Thank you. I have a presentation that I think you really is going to enjoy today. I have the honor to introduce three amazing young people. I first got involved with student council a little bit over 12 years ago. In 2012, I started doing the student council election for the high school. This is where I started meeting these young adults and realized that everything that people think about the young people is really not true. If you think back, we had adults say the same thing about us. I don't know what's going to happen with the future. Well, I know what's going to happen with the future. The future's bright, and three of the bright young people standing in front of us is going to make sure of that. I introduce to you today Ivana Goff, Braylon Hubbard, and Morgan Liggins. Turn it over to you guys.
Good evening. Thank you so much, Clerk Wright and the Board of Trustees for giving us the opportunity to present to you all tonight. What if I told you all that Black history was more than just fights for freedom? It was more than just protests and fist symbols, but about the intellectual contributions that Black Americans have made not only to American history, but world history as a whole. Today, we are going to explore the contributions of Black Americans beyond fights for freedom. We are Belleville High School Student Council and Leadership Team. My name is Ivana Goff. I am Student Council and Class President at Belleville High School. I'm also National Honor Society Vice President. I'm a part of leadership team and many other organizations at Belleville High School. It was important for me to be here today because of what Black history means to me and how much it resonates with me, as I am Black history. I am the first African American female representative on the Michigan Association of Student Councils and Honor Societies. We meet monthly in Lansing and work closely with the Michigan State Board of Education organization to bring equitable and accessible policies to students across the state of Michigan. I'll be down in Grand Rapids this weekend to present to over 3,000 students from 99 high schools about student leadership.
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad that you gave me the opportunity to be here. I'm Braylon Hubbard. I do things like leadership team, morning announcements. I'm a spokesman for a music program at my school, just certain things like that. The reason why I'm here is that what Black history means to me is power. It means to me that it's just an all around thing. Black history is not just something we can just look upon. It's something that we have to remember. Because if we remember Black history, then it will stay. Because if we forget it, then it'll be gone forever.
Hello, once again, thank you so much for inviting us here to talk on Black history. This is so important to me because just like the rest of us said, it is something that cannot be lost because it is something that is very important for us, you know, as a society, just to keep reminding ourselves that there are people of color and people not of color that have made so many impacts on America and just our world as a whole. My name is Morgan Liggins, and I participate on the leadership team. I do morning announcements at Belleville High School. I am a Tiger drama actress, and I participate backstage and everything like that. So thank you so much once again.
To start, we're going to talk about our first notable figure in Black history that I'm sure many of you heard of and recognize. That is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He was born on January 15th, 1929, which we celebrate each year as Martin Luther King Day. And he was important because he was more than just a reverend. He turned his position as a reverend to be a symbol for not only Black history and civil rights, but a symbol of peace, as he was a recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize, which is a world-renowned award. So once again, another example that Black history goes beyond the scope and the lens of America, but in a worldly lens as well. One of my favorite quotes by Dr. Martin Luther King is, "In the end, we will not remember the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends." And that resonates because as non-members of the Black community, you too can have an opportunity to lift up and extend a hand and recognize and celebrate and make small actions that build up to meaningful impacts to help your Black brothers and sisters within your communities, within your families, who helped you build this country. I wanted to start with a little iceberg analogy that some of you may be familiar with. When you think of an iceberg floating in the ocean, we usually only see that top 10% of it. And when I put this in the scope of Black history, I'm talking about the civil rights and the activism and the protests that we see year after year with Black history. But there's so many more layers that often go unnoticed and unseen. And those are the political reforms, the record breaking, the societal contributions, and most importantly, I believe, is the innovation of Black Americans. We're going to move on to one of our political trailblazers that we want to highlight tonight.
So this man is John Lewis. John Lewis was a trailblazer in American politics, and he was a monumental figure in the civil rights movement. He did so many things for African Americans. As you can see, he was born February 21st, 1940, and died July 17th, 2020. What John Lewis was one of the people in the civil rights movement that got us the ability to have civil rights, not just for African Americans, but for women, for people in labor movements, everything. And then after that, he proceeded to do more while being one of the forerunners in African Americans to jump into politics after segregation. A quote from him is, "My dear friends, your vote is precious, almost sacred." What that means is that your vote has power, no matter what you are. Coming from a man who basically spent his whole life just fighting for the right to get his vote, that means a lot to me.
Next one we want to highlight is our very own Clerk Wright, another example that Black history is all around us, even in our own backyard. Clerk Wright became clerk of Van Buren Township in 2008 and has been loyally serving our community for the past 17 years. He is the first African American to serve as clerk for Van Buren Township and has since won the Clerk of the Year award in 2017. So we want to thank him for his contribution and again celebrate him in being a part of Black history. Black history is more than just a fight for freedom, but the intellectual movement. So now we're going to get into the intellectual revolution and highlight a few important Black innovators that have made our everyday lives easier.
So this is Garrett Morgan, and he invented the traffic light. Garrett Morgan was born March 4th of 1877, and he died July 27th, 1963. He was an African-American inventor, businessman, and community leader, and most well known for inventing the traffic light. The traffic light is not just something that one group of people use, it's something that all of us use. So that shows how it's not just something that the Black community can use or the white community can use or like anything. It's something for the world as a whole. Everyone in every country, everyone in the entire state of the earth is using the traffic light, and it's something so important and something that we need as a society. So one of the quotes that Garrett Morgan has is don't be pushed around by the fears in your mind, meaning don't allow some words or don't allow you being a minority, being a different type of, sex or being a different type of color. Don't allow that to make you be, on a lower level than anyone else. We all have the same opportunities and we all can push hard for our goals, hard for our dreams, and can all reach the same place.
Another notable figure is Marie Van Britten Brown. She was the inventor of the home security system. Born on October 30th in 1922, she worked as a nurse, and I think that her story is one of the things that stuck out to me. She was a nurse in the time when the contribution of women in society, let alone the workload, wasn't something that was necessarily a priority, but she rose above and was a contributor to the medical field as a nurse. And beyond that, she found time in her probably very limited free time to invent home security system, which we use in our daily lives to keep us safe and protected, and they even keep this building protected today. One of the quotes by her is, "A woman alone could set off an alarm almost immediately by pushing a button."
This man is Alexander Miles. Alexander Miles was an African American inventor and businessman, best known for his invention of the elevator. Alexander Miles was born May 18th, 1838, and died May 7th, 1918. The reason he sticks out as a powerful figure in Black history is that he was born into a time of slavery. And in the time of slavery, if you know, African Americans weren't legally allowed to know how to read and write. The ability that he had to be able to invent something like the elevator while not technically legally having his right to read and to write was a thing that was really powerful that stuck out to me.
Again, Black history is more than just the fights for freedom, but about the cultural, the innovative, the intellectual movements and contributions that Black Americans have made to American history. I also wanted to take a moment to talk about DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion, especially in today's political climate. DEI is not the relinquishing of qualifications, but it's the opportunity for those in minority groups to be qualified in comparison to majority peers. And I think that often gets misconstrued in conversations about DEI. A helpful analogy that I like to use is about football. I'm sure some of us tune into the NFL. One of our well-known newer dynasty teams is the Kansas City Chiefs. They've gone to the Super Bowl 5 times in the last 6 years. So obviously a good team, lots of skill. Imagine if every year in April for the NFL drafts, they continuously got the best players. We would continuously see Kansas City victories after Kansas City victories, and other teams wouldn't have the opportunity to win or be competitive against this team that is just seems to be unstoppable, consistently winning. DEI kind of works like the NFL draft. For those of you who don't know, teams that have lower records throughout the year get higher picks in the drafts so that they have the opportunity to get better players. So the worse the team, the less opportunities that those teams that have at winning, they're able to get those opportunities to win with skilled players. So again, it's not saying that, oh, we're just going to put these players, the best players get to stick with the best teams, but it's about distributing that wealth so that everybody has the opportunity to be satisfied. It's not spoon feeding the winners, but bringing the bowl so that everyone has the opportunity to fill their bellies. Thank you so much for allowing us to present today. Again, if you take away anything from tonight, we just want you all to remember that Black history is American history. Thank you so much.